Right, okay, I want to talk about singers I don't like. Now, the thing with me is that I don't really listen to singers. I listen to music, I listen to guitarists, I particularly listen to the song. So there are plenty of singers who it just doesn't make much difference to me what they're like. I'm going to listen to the song anyway. And when it comes to singers I actually like, there's probably only one person who I would buy a record by just because it was them singing it, and that is Scott Walker. And I tend to like people like Scott Walker. I like Eric Burdon and Nick Cave and what's his name? The bloke from The Doors, Jim Morrison. Those kind of people, singing in deep voices. And there are also people who I sort of tolerate. I don't like the sing. Strangely enough, this is sacrilegious to say this. I don't like the singing of Stevie Wonder or Elton John. But I think they both write great songs, make great records. It's just the singing puts me off a bit. And there are other strange things, like I don't really like Roger Daltrey after the 70s, all that. I like the 60s stuff. After that, I'd prefer to hear Townsend. And equally strange is Bruce Springsteen. I don't think I really like Springsteen after The River. All that shouting stuff and that Americana type thing he started to do. No, but there are people who I really don't like, and it would put me off listening to their records. And number one is probably Rod Stewart. And I just don't like his voice. And I can't agree with all these people who say those two early Jeff Beck records are comparable with Led Zeppelin. Because I do actually like Robert Plant, just don't like Rod Stewart. And it's not necessarily because his voice is rough, that sound there. I don't know. It's taste, isn't it? Rod Stewart is not to my taste. Next on my list I've got Chris Martin. Well, what can I say? Does anybody like Chris Martin? Coldplay, does anybody like Coldplay? It's a sort of miserable whine, and I don't like the songs. Right, next I've got Eddie Vedder, and I don't really like that sort of gruff voice that came with Pearl Jam and a lot of those other grunge acts. They all seem to be doing Eddie Vedder, and I didn't particularly like it. Now, I don't like Brian Johnson of ACDC, and I think Bon Scott was okay. I'm not a great fan of ACDC, but Brian Johnson really puts me off. I don't like Phil Collins. Now, early Genesis, I'm not a great fan of Peter Gabriel, but I could put up with Peter Gabriel, and sometimes I worry that the things I think of Peter Gabriel are actually Phil Collins. I could probably put up with Phil Collins' early Genesis, but no, the later Genesis and the solo stuff, no, not for me. Next I've got Sting, and I feel quite guilty because the Police were a really clever band. They wrote some really good songs, and somebody said I should recently listen to the musical he did, and I thought it probably is very interesting, but his voice puts me off. And I'm not that keen on the Police. It all sounded a bit empty. I don't really like big chorus guitars, and yeah, the songs were quite good, but the mixture of the guitar sound and Sting singing, I don't own any Police records, and I probably would never really choose to play any. Next I've got the Campbell Brothers. Now this is supposed to be 10 people. There's 2 Campbell Brothers in UB40, or there was. One of them's left, so there's now only one. And that wine, that red wine, that UB40 wine, that Birmingham wine. Oh no, I can't take UB40 at all, just because of the vocals. Next I've got Morrissey. And Morrissey. I love Johnny Marr's guitar playing, But Morrissey just seems to be moaning all the time. He just seems to sing words on top of the chords. Occasionally there's a chorus. I mean, I love the Light That Never Goes Out and Hang the DJ and all that, but mostly he just seems to be making words up on top of the chords. Liam Gallagher. Liam Gallagher. It's that word shine. I probably wouldn't have even noticed Liam Gallagher if it wasn't for the word shine that keeps it going all over the place. And that irritated me to the point where I don't like anything else he does, really. And I quite like the Oasis songs that Noel sings. Don't Look Back in Anger, great song. Theme to The Office, you know, not The Office. Theme to the Royal Family, good song. Quite like What I've Heard of High Flying Birds. Just don't like Liam Gallagher. And finally, another shock, Stevie Winwood. And I love Give Me Some Lovin', but I just don't like his voice. It puts me off. A lot of Traffic. I listen to Traffic despite not liking Stevie Winwood. And the solo stuff, all that Valerie. No, that put me off entirely. I mean, what with being 80s as well. So those are 10 people whose singing I really don't like.